The true story of a 70-year-old woman and a young man. My name is Grace. I'm 70 years old, and this is the story of the most unexpected bond I've ever formed. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't familial, but it was real, powerful, and it saved us both. It all began on a quiet Sunday afternoon, the kind of day when the world moves on without you and the sky looks far too cheerful for how you feel inside. I was sitting on a weathered bench in the city park, feeding breadcrumbs to a few eager pigeons, just like I did every Sunday since my husband Harold passed away. We were married for over 4 decades. When he died, something inside me dulled. I still wore his ring, still kept his side of the bed untouched, still whispered to him before I went to sleep each night. That afternoon, as I tossed crumbs and hummed a lullaby my mother once sang, I noticed someone sitting alone a few yards away. He couldn't have been older than 24. His clothes were tattered, his face tired, a large backpack slouched beside him. He didn't ask for anything, didn't even glance my way. I can't explain what made me speak up. "Hey, son," I called. "Are you hungry?" He looked startled, then nodded, shy, slow. I handed him the second sandwich I'd packed, not really planning to share, ham and cheese, a little too much mayo, but he took it like it was a treasure. "Thank you, ma'am," he said softly. "Grace," I corrected him. "Don't call me ma'am, that's for school teachers and traffic officers." He gave me the smallest smile. That was the first step. His name was Micah. He was 24 years old. No parents, no home. Just a scar on his jaw, a backpack full of sketchbooks and silence he didn't want to break. He started coming to the park regularly. Sometimes we sat near each other. Other days he stayed at a distance. But I noticed he always showed up around the same time I did. We didn't talk much in the beginning, just shared space, shared snacks, shared quiet. I began bringing extra food, a thermos of soup, sometimes gloves or an old scarf. Micah never asked, but he always accepted. One day, I brought a chess set. Harold had taught me how to play it years ago. I hadn't touched the board since his passing. "Do you play?" I asked as I set up the pieces. "A little," he replied. That afternoon, we played 3 games. He won once, and when he did, he smiled. Not out of pride, but out of surprise, like he'd forgotten how. We began meeting more often, Friday afternoons, sometimes even Wednesdays. My friends didn't understand. "You're spending time with a stranger?" they questioned. "What if he's dangerous? What could he possibly want from you?" But I didn't care. Micah made me feel alive again. He didn't see a widow, didn't see an old lady. He saw me, and I began to see him too. Then one chilly afternoon in November, he didn't show up. I waited until dusk. The pigeons left. The air grew colder. Still no sign of him. The next day I came again. Nothing. By the weekend, I was genuinely worried. I checked nearby alleys, visited a few shelters. No one had seen him. On Tuesday, I found him. He was curled behind the stone steps of an old church, shaking, pale, soaked to the bone. His forehead was burning. I called for help immediately. In the ambulance, he tried to speak, but his lips were dry and trembling. "Shh," I said, "you're going to be okay." At the hospital, the doctors said it was pneumonia. He needed rest, medicine, food. He had none of those things. I brought him home with me. Everyone I knew thought I'd lost my mind, letting a stranger live in my house. But Micah wasn't just some boy on the street. He was someone who needed a chance. And I knew what it felt like to need one. I set him up in the guest room, taught him how to use the laundry machine, made him oatmeal with too much cinnamon, just like Harold liked it. Even my cat, Sylvia, usually indifferent, seemed to warm up to him immediately. In the evenings, he played guitar. 2 strings were missing, but the melodies were soft and full of something I couldn't name. Eventually, he began to talk about his mother who passed when he was 10, about bouncing between foster homes, about turning 18 and being completely alone, no safety net, no guidance. He had every reason to be angry, but he wasn't, just tired, and so full of art. As the weeks passed, Micah changed. He found a job at a local bookstore, started sketching again, took his GED exam and passed, signed up for community college courses online. I started painting again too. After Harold's death, I hadn't picked up a brush, but with Micah around, the silence in the house softened. The air felt less heavy. We were healing together. Not as family, not as anything with a label, just as 2 broken people helping each other stand back up. Then one morning I came downstairs to find a note on the kitchen table. It was short, but it cracked my heart open. Grace, you gave me something I thought I'd never feel again. Hope. I got accepted into an art program across the country. I start next month. I have to go, but I'll write and I'll visit. Thank you for showing me kindness without asking for anything in return. Love, Micah. I sat at the table and let myself cry, not from sorrow, but from pride. He came to say goodbye that weekend. He hugged me like he never wanted to let go, and I told him, go make something beautiful. He left and the house went quiet again. But I wasn't alone. He wrote every week, sometimes longer letters, sometimes postcards with messy sketches on the back. He told me about classes he loved, about struggling with deadlines, about the roommate who snored, and about falling in love for the first time. He always signed off with your Micah. He came back for Christmas that year, taller, stronger, carrying a framed canvas wrapped in brown paper. When I unwrapped it, I couldn't breathe. It was a painting of us, sitting on our bench, a chessboard between us. A gentle smile on both our faces, pigeons circling in the background. That painting hangs in my living room now. Micah graduated with honours. He now runs his own design studio. He still visits every year, still calls me every Sunday morning. He's become his grandmother. And I don't correct them. We may not share blood, but we share something stronger. Love. Grace. A second chance. I'm 89 now. I move slower. My hands ache sometimes, but I still visit that bench, still bring extra food, because you never know when someone might need a warm meal or simply to be seen, just like I needed, just like Micah needed, and just like so many still do.